everyone, I'm Carol and welcome to Over 50, So What? Now if you want to burn more calories, you want to raise your metabolism, why not stand up while you watch the show today? And then you'll be ready to join in the 5-minute fitness segment after the break. We have more great guests on the show. To kick off with, we're going to discuss the very important topic of elder abuse prevention with mlord. Please tune in if you think that you might be disrespected by friends, family, or carers, or you're concerned about others. Great advice. To finish the show, sorry guys, but we have the passionate Marina from Marinella, who is going to show us mature ladies how we can be stylish at any age. And we meet some very stylish ladies right up to the age of 90 years and 8 months. Any men watching, you might pick up some ideas on how to treat that special lady. Welcome to Energy for Life. Today on the show, we're going to talk about a pretty serious topic, and that is elder abuse. There are some older Australians who are being subjected to abuse not just from carers, but their own friends and family. We're going to look at how we can all help prevent this and how we get help for people if needed. We're joined today by mlord. She's got over 30 years experience in health and has advised the Victorian government on the prevention of elder abuse. Michelle led the team to develop the Framing Age Message Guide. Hi Michelle, and welcome to Over 50 So What, and congratulations for being nominated for Kingston Woman of the Year.
Thanks, Carol. Great to be here.
Now today, or the very first day the show goes to air, is the 15th of June. So when people are watching it may not be the 15th of June, but 15th of June is a very special day. Can you tell us what is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day?
Yes, absolutely. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is recognised every year on the 15th of June and has been running since 2006. And the purpose of the day is to raise awareness of a health and social issue that we very rarely talk about, which is elder abuse.
And what is the definition of elder abuse? I mean, it covers a great variety of things.
It does. And I guess different organisations use different definitions, but the one I'll go with today is that elder abuse can be defined as a single or repeated act occurring within a relationship of trust, which causes harm or distress to an older person. And it can take various forms, including financial, psychological, physical, emotional and sexual, as well as neglect. So an older person can be abused by their adult children or grandchildren, a partner, siblings, other extended family members. It can even be a neighbour or trusted friend who causes harm. So the key point there is that relationship of trust. So for instance, without asking, a daughter might withdraw some extra cash or buy some groceries for herself while she's out picking up some food for her parents. She hasn't asked. That's not right. It can also take the form of an adult child restricting access to their parent by controlling who can visit the home. And very often it involves things like requests for money or assets. And older people might be coerced into giving more than they'd like to under the threat of losing access to grandchildren or repeated verbal abuse.
How can we actually prevent those from happening in the first place? I mean, that seems like a really big job.
It's a huge job, and we're at the very beginning of this prevention journey. I often say that we're where family violence was 20 years ago. But first and foremost, I think we can respect older people in the same way that we respect all members of society. We can also make sure that older people have opportunities to participate in positive relationships, make independent decisions, and engage in activities of their choice rather than what we tell them to do. This helps to reduce social isolation, which creates an environment where abuse can occur. And finally, I think it's really important to be aware of ageism. Addressing ageist stereotypes, attitudes, and behaviours can significantly contribute to creating communities which are aware of and are intolerant to elder abuse.
So if someone's watching today and they feel like they're not being respected by a carer, a family member or a friend, what do you suggest they do as the older person that's in that situation?
Often the first best step is to confide in someone they trust. Another family member who's not involved, a friend, or often the GP is a really good starting point. So someone that you trust to say, look, some things have been happening to me that I don't feel really comfortable with. What's your opinion, or would you help me out? There's a range of different support services available that people can contact, such as Seniors Rights Victoria, or there's also support for family mediation, counselling, financial counselling. And of course, if anyone's ever in any immediate danger, they should always call the police on 000.
Now, if someone is observing the behaviour in others, now I'll give you an example of one that I know of. There was someone working in aged care and the family member tried to get them to give their older relative drugs. So what does someone do if they see something like that happening? Where do you go and what do you do?
It's slightly different in the aged care setting because there are laws and mandates in an aged care setting, keeping in mind that only 5% of older people do actually live in that setting. So the vast majority of this does occur in our community. So the first step is usually just to have a quiet conversation with the older person and let them know that you've seen some behaviours that have concerned you and ask them if they'd like some support to manage the situation. In the situation you've described, then it's probably more perhaps to speak with management at the aged care service to say that you've noticed that this has been happening and follow it up that way.
What about, you mentioned also neglect. What sort of behaviours do you know of in the community that's happening there?
Examples of neglect are where, for instance, someone is living in community, either in their own home or with a family member, friend or neighbour, and there's insufficient food provided, or they're not dressed properly, not bathed often enough, insufficient heating or cooling, and that's can result obviously in significant health concerns for anybody in that situation.
So can you just go through the steps if someone observes that behaviour that might be under the neglect or might be under financial or control, which they're not allowed to see certain family members and things like that. If someone watching today knows of a situation like that, can you just go through the exact steps that people should take?
First and most important thing is just to find the quiet, private space to talk about the things that you've noticed with the person that you're concerned about. Listen to what they've got to say without judgment, and then acknowledge that what they've just told you must have been really difficult for them to talk about, because it is difficult to talk about. One of the things that makes this quite unique is that most people want to preserve those relationships moving forward. Check that they're safe right now, and if they're not, call 000. And if they would like some support, you can connect them with either Seniors Rights Victoria on 1300 368 821. If they would prefer mediation, counselling, financial counselling, Better Place Australia would be a good place to contact on 1800 214 117.
So they can go to Seniors Rights or they can go to Better Place, and there's the resources there that sort of outline what steps to take. And is there advice on how to approach the older person and discuss it with them?
So ideally, it's the older person themselves that would make those phone calls, because it's about assisting them to manage their situation. But certainly in the first instance, if you're unsure of what to do, you can also call those phone numbers.
Well, Michelle, thanks for all that amazing information, and thanks for all your years and years and decades of dedication to elder abuse prevention. Look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Thanks, Carol. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?